Right, here we go, Frankie Parsons here, YouTuber extraordinaire and everybody's favourite, reporting for duty from old London town and bringing you the very best in PC games for the single player, hoping you to make the right choice. Today's top 20 is from the stealth genre, and there it is, camouflaging itself into the background there, blending in. Let's draw the curtain and see what's behind it today, bringing up those spotlights and looking at, focusing at A Plague Tale. Let's hope this one isn't plagued by too many problems, shall we? And with further ado, I have decided to do away with the puns. You know, the fart, wind jokes were getting a bit too much. So, yeah, we'll give that the push. And looking at the 48 genres here, we're going to turn this into a kind of checklist and drag into the abyss the two genres that we've done top 20s for so far. So there they go. Just to break off to say that our stealth games are, in fact, quite a few of these are interchangeable with survival horror games and vice versa. Games such as Outlast, Alien Isolation, Amnesia, Prey, and even the Resident Evil games have kind of stealth features. Similarly, some stealth games have survival horror elements. Not, though, to be confused with the top-down stealth games, you know, Shadow Tactics, Marvelous Mistake, Volume, etc., which are plan view or isometric. Let's click on the button and find out what's behind it, shall we? So here we are, here's our grid. We'll fill in the medals and bring in our honourable mentions. Now these are sequels to games that appear in the main grid. The bronze was games I have not played, here for sort of informational purposes. They are they're waiting to be played. Thief, to my shame, I've still not got round to playing. Here's some silver games here, games I have played a little bit but kind of uninstalled for various reasons. Origami, Ghost of a Tale, indie games I'll go back to. Hitman, Blood Money, fairly old game. And Styx, after about 6 hours of play, I got a game-breaking bug and had to uninstall it. The gold games, Deus Ex, I played for 2 or 3 hours, enjoying that one. Hitman Absolution, a game which of course is prior to its main one, which we'll see in Platinum. Sniper Elite by the developer Rebellion, did games such as Zombie Army Trilogy and Strange Brigade. Excellent game, excellent developer. And the much maligned Sniper 2 Ghost Warrior, a kind of linear sniper game which I thought was actually really good. Dishonored is hands down the best stealth game you can buy. Excellent graphics, fantastically optimized, loads of abilities, lots of different ways to complete levels, a kind of lots of open areas, a must-have. Hitman 2, that's to be bought with Hitman 1. That's great graphics, lots of different ways to complete the levels, massive though on your hard disk. It takes up about 150 gigabytes of space. Plague Tale Innocence, of course, we'll see shortly. And last but not least, the Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist, a kind of linear version of Hitman. Let's go then and see what Plague Tale's all about, shall we? Right, here we go. This is the second screen you get to whilst firing up a Plague Tale Innocence, to give it its full title. There are 3 save slots, just like Cuphead and Undermine. Developer, take note, if you want to aim for greatness, give your game 3 save slots. There's plenty of rats scurrying about the place. That's because the game is chock full of the little rodents, and if you are at all averse or have a phobia, then perhaps you should stay clear. There's 17 chapters altogether. I'm currently on the 16th chapter, having a little bit of trouble with the final boss, and to be fair, finding it just a tad tedious. You know, if you're anything like me and you get towards the end of a game like this, you just want to finish it, you just want to end it. So, you know, that can be a bit of a drag. Anyway, the game is set in the beautiful French countryside. As I go through these thumbnails here, you'll notice that there are extra items you can collect, so it's a kind of a little bit of a collectible feature going on there. I'm going to show you the 4th chapter to give you an example of the gameplay. Right, here we are, beginning of chapter 4. We join the 2 protagonists here as they're walking through the French countryside. On the left there is Amicia, the sister, and on the right is Hugo, the brother. Their mother, a rich aristocratic lady, has been trying to find a cure for Hugo, who is suffering from this terrible illness, causing him lots of problems, lots of headaches, etc. Something terrible has happened to the mother. They're kind of going to try and find out what's happened to her, and as I say, they're trying to reach this doctor. Now I can pan around the 2 characters here. As you can see, the lighting effects are pretty incredible. It's a really gorgeous game. And let's wander over here, shall we? I'm using a mouse. No, I'm not. I'm using a controller for this. Much better, I think.
There, a windmill. Is that Laurentius's farm?
Is-
I hope so.
I've never seen a real windmill.
If we're careful, you'll be seeing one very soon.
As I was saying, I tend to use a mouse for games that with like a gun or a ranged weapon, which requires precision. But with games like Assassin's Creed and the Batman series, I find the mouse and the controller a lot more comfortable. And for this game, the controller works really well. So I'm using a controller for this one. Only 2 buttons really you need to learn really, and that is the X for crouch, and the Y, which you don't really learn because it prompts you, which is the action key. If you press down on the right trigger, that makes your character run faster. And there we go. Right, let's wander over here. Oh,
Hey, Hugo, where are you going?
Oh, bubbles! Look at the bubbles!
now this is a single player game, but if it was co-op, it would be a case of Hugo over there, and I'll go over here. But it's not a co-op, so let's
Yes,
be
Hugo.
sensible.
What is it?
It could be a fish, a frog, I really don't know. We don't have time for this right now. Come on.
But I've never seen a real frog.
Now each level lasts for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how thorough you want to be with the nooks and crannies. There are resources, which we're going to pick up over here. They're glinting a little bit.
Someone came here to read a book.
Blood.
What happened?
I don't know, but it didn't end well.
Perhaps there were rats.
Now there is a... Wait a minute.
Amicia, look! It's one of the men that attacked the house.
The Inquisition. They're here.
Right, there is a crafting system, a very crude crafting system, which... Let's see if I get the right button. Is here. Now you need to be at a workbench to craft these materials. You know, pretty straightforward, nothing too heavy there. So here we're going to start the first little bit of sneaking around. We'll just approach this area.
How many fucking animals?
Do I look like a rat? How should I know?
Well, I say we'll never get rid of these nests using stupid lime.
Whatever happens, we have to get out of here before the sun goes down. They like the dark. So back to business.
So when I was talking earlier about the buttons, there are other buttons you do need to know of, as well as the X button. There's the A button, which allows you to climb over things and leap over certain obstacles. There are also the triggers, the left trigger and the right trigger, which activate your sling. Before doing that though, I'm going to press the right bumper, which brings up your radial menu. These are your projectiles that you'll be using during the game. Some empty spaces here, because later when you get lots of rats involved, you'll get certain projectiles which will take care of those, which your companion seems to give you at very convenient moments. Things like creating flames to disperse the rats, projectiles that would douse the flames to clear, to allow rats to congregate in certain areas, and other things like making guards take off their helmets, because this guard, as you can see, is wearing a helmet. So if I throw a rock at his face, it won't do any damage. Now I'm going to press the left trigger to aim at these glimmering piles of armour here, and then to fire you will click your right trigger. I missed. Try again.
The first time was already too much. Let's go.
So there's a little tinkle there, and you'll notice the search, or rather the stealth meter above his head. That is now white, which means he's alerted to something. He'll stare at the armour for a few moments, and then he'll move away. You'll see the stealth meter is diminishing somewhat. It's going to white, and then eventually it'll turn fully grey, which will mean he will go back to his post. So we can sneak through these reeds. He can't see us. We are concealed.
I don't understand. Should have found something this time.
Right, there he goes. See the old sod. And we can stealth behind him and behind these logs and be quite safe in the process. As we round the corner, we will see another chap over here who we're going to dispatch.
Amicia, look. There's a bridge that leads to the farm.
What a waste of time. The Grand Inquisitor should just tell us what he really wants from us.
So we're going to throw this vase behind him, which will cause him to move, like so. And while he goes to figure out what it is, well, he's got to come this way because we were a little bit early in leaping upwards. But we can smash him in the head, like so. So what I should have done there was wait for him to search the vase and then clobbered him with the rock. So we're going to move over to this area now. You can go to the left.
With that and the second barricade, no one will ever get through.
I'm going to the bridge. The cart will be back with the other barricades.
Absolutely gorgeous game, as you can see. I can go up there and try to get some more treasure, but there is a guard there who's a bit annoying, so we can actually bypass him. Let's duck down. You will notice there. There's a guy. Let's just go around the corner here. Nope. Yeah, they're not too bright, these guards. They'll stop and search in one particular area, and then they'll go back. So we'll just wait for him to go back to his post.
Well, it was nothing.
Again, their IQs aren't too high, but you will notice an interesting feature where they start panting when things get a little bit hairy, which is a good feature.
There's a hole in the wall.
I'm too big. You'll have to go in and open the window for me.
They'll see me.
I'll keep him busy.
Yeah. So puzzles overall, I would say, are pretty inventive, really enjoyable actually. Very varied. In this case, we got quite a simple one whereby I need to press the D-pad to let the little fella, or allow the little fella to go over to that wall there and to let me into the window. Let me through the window. There are a few slight inconsistencies with the distraction mechanic. For example, if I was to throw a missile at that metallic bucket, this guard would not go over towards the bucket to investigate, as we saw earlier with the armour. He would actually, for some reason, come towards me. A lot of examples of this where guards will come towards the person who threw the missile rather than the object that made the sound. So just be aware of that. I'm going to wait for him to go over there one more time. Then Hugo over there. Hugo over there. Hugo over there. Right, keeping crouched, hide behind this little blanket.
Yes, now it's my turn.
He'll do one more scoop with the lime, and while he's doing that, I'm going to nip across to the window. There'll be the prompt sign there. Press A.
Well done.
Amicia, we have to get out of here.
Notice the French accent there. We have to get out of here. Yeah, I won't do that again. There's the guard there standing at the window. One last thing I would say, I thought I was being clever earlier, whereby I took my vase and threw it through the window, and then while he went to investigate, I thought I could then exit the building, but that didn't work. This bit's actually quite tricky, so I'm not going to try it. I will instead say I hope you enjoyed the video, my little dabble there with A Plague Tale Innocence, and I shall see you in the next video. I thank you.